Harper Audio presents Beach Colors, a novel, by Shelley Noble, performed by Erin Bennett. Connecticut, July, 20 years ago. The porch steps were hot. Margaux Sullivan hopped from one foot to the other while she searched the beach for her friends. It was the last day of summer. Sunlight floated on the water like a million diamonds. Lazy pinwheels of white filled the sky. Across the Sound, Long Island stretched like a green thread on the horizon. It felt like time would last forever. But tomorrow the houses would be closed up, and the Selkies would be separated for another winter. Margaux's stomach clenched. This year would be different. Margaux and Grace were both returning to Hartford with their families, but Brianna was moving to New York. They might never all meet here again. Stupid. Of course we will. The Selkies will always have each other. She shielded her eyes against the sun and found the others standing at the water's edge. Brianna posed for the lifeguard, pretending to ignore him, while he practically fell off his seat to get a better look. Grace stood in the water, trying not to giggle. The lifeguard was tall, dark, and handsome, but Bree's mother told her not to fraternize with him because he was a townie. Bree didn't listen. Margaux had her own tall, dark, and handsome young townie. Well, he wasn't really hers. He was much older, and they'd never even spoken. But they had sat across the same table at the library every summer since she was 10. Him frowning over his books, her copying dresses from the latest fashion magazines. It was almost like a date. Only he wasn't there this summer, and now she was sorry that she'd never asked him what he was studying. The screen door slammed behind her, and her brother, Danny, ran past her and jumped down to the sand. "Hey, Magsy, want to ride to the library?" "No thanks, I'm busy, and it's Margaux." Danny grinned back at her. He pushed his motorcycle helmet over unruly red curls and made a bow. "Madame Margaux." Then he reached up and scrubbed her hair. "Magsy." The pencil stub that was pushed through her equally unruly curls fell to the steps. She slapped at his hand, but he dodged away. "See ya, Mags." He ran around the side of the house. A minute later, she heard his new Honda 500 roar to life. Margaux pulled at her hair. It had taken her 10 minutes to get it to lie flat, and now it was every which way again. She picked up the pencil and shoved it behind her ear. Brothers could be so annoying. She put 2 fingers to her lips and whistled. Brianna and Grace looked up and started walking toward her. They met halfway and turned as one toward the jetty at the end of the Crescent Beach. Brianna led the way, walking ahead as if she were already leaving them. They climbed up the rocks of the jetty, barely paying attention. They had climbed them so often. Then down again to the cove. The tide was in, and they had to splash through the water to reach the path that led through the woods. Margaux lagged behind. Things were changing, and she wasn't sure she was ready. She knew some people outgrew the beach, but not the Selkies. Even when they got too old to explore and write secret messages and go crabbing, Margaux would never be too old to go crabbing. The beach would still be a part of them, would live in a special place inside each of them. She felt a flutter of nerves. Today they were leaving something of themselves behind, just in case. It was cooler beneath the pines and scrub oak. Silently they walked along the narrow path, nearly grown over with rhododendron and fern. When the path veered off, they ducked under the gnarled tree limb, climbed over the rotten log, and stopped at the entrance of the grotto. They had discovered it that first summer, an outcropping of rocks and a ledge of granite that formed a shallow cavern. It became their secret hideout.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?